Macedonian Holocaust stands as one of Europe's most tragic events, a somber chapter often overlooked in historical discussions. Following figures like Philip II, Alexander the Great, and revolutionary heroes such as Goce Delchev and Dame Gruev, it makes sense to envision Macedonia as a prosperous and advanced nation. However, the reality paints a very clear contrast. Instead, Macedonia has endured decades of torment, numerous conflicts, and corrupt governments. But today we're going to focus on only one series of events, the Holocaust of Macedonians in Aegean Macedonia. But where did it all go wrong? Let's go back just over 100 years in the turbulent years from 1912 to 1946. Macedonia faced a crucible of geopolitical changes and conflicts. From the Balkan Wars to World War II, they set the stage for territorial divisions that triggered conflicts and, ultimately, the fate of Macedonia. In 1913, the Greek army's campaign in Aegean Macedonia took a dark turn. Thousands of ethnic Macedonians faced forced expulsion, a tragic episode condemned as a crime against humanity. The ethnic cleansing in Aegean Macedonia reshaped the region's demographic landscape, leaving scars that echo through generations. Imagine being tortured and killed for speaking your language at home. Imagine being forced to speak a foreign language. Imagine having your entire family beheaded simply for being human. Imagine the government classifying your family as an illegal type of people and taking away all your land. Doesn't that remind you of something? Doesn't that remind you of what Hitler did to Jews? Except, this was done by Greeks to Macedonians in Macedonia, yet no one ever talks about it. For some 30 years prior to the 1912-1913 Balkan Wars, the Greek, Bulgarian, and Serbian states had established zones of influence inside Macedonia. Initially, through their respective churches which operated freely inside Macedonia, they employed propaganda campaigns enforced by armed brigands, denationalizing the Macedonian population and swaying it, sometimes forcefully, into accepting Greek, Bulgarian, or Serbian national sentiments. During that time period, the Greek army was sent to get rid of every piece of evidence of Macedonia. They went into hundreds of Macedonian villages and set them on fire. On July 2nd, 1913, you could already see that the surrounding villages were engulfed in flames. Fields of corn and stacks of reaped corn had been set on fire. The Greeks had fired upon the reapers who had gone to work in the early morning in their fields.
We all fled when the shells began to fall in our village and got safely to Demir Hisar. Then I heard people saying the Greek cavalry are coming. There was a panic. Children fell on the ground and horsemen rode over them. I lost my children, save one whom I was able to carry. My husband had 2 others with him. I do not know. More than 28,000 Macedonian child refugees between the ages of 2 and 14 were evacuated.
All of these children were sent to different countries, some in Poland, Czechia, Denmark, Canada, even Australia. How am I so sure of this? There are countless pieces of evidence that Greeks forgot to erase, one of which is my family's history. My grandfather was born in German, a village in Lerin in Aegean Macedonia. He, along with my great-grandmother, were forced to evacuate while my great-grandfather stayed to fight for his country. Starving, my grandfather and great-grandmother got on trains, accompanied by many other families and even relatives. By the time they almost reached the Hungarian border, they had left the train. Desperate to get back to their home, they were not let in. Greece had claimed that piece of land as theirs, and the Macedonian passports that said Lerin on them were not accepted by the Greeks. Not knowing what to do, they decided to live in the next closest city to Aegean Macedonia, Bitola. Eventually, after years, my great-grandfather served in Greek jail. He finally got out and managed to get to Macedonia, looking for his family. Years later, he gets reunited with my grandmother and great-grandmother. Because of these events, I still have family in Poland, Canada, etc. Unfortunately, not everyone was this lucky.
Myśmy się zebrali w jedno miejsce, mnóstwo dzieciaków wraz z rodzicami. Od razu były podzielone grupy. Każda grupa dostała jedną wychowawczynię, którą u nas nazywana była Majka, i wyruszyliśmy w drogę. Potem się okazało, że my idziemy w stronę granicy jugosłowiańskiej. Bywało nieraz tak, żeśmy przez długi czas szli, znowu uciekali do tyłu, to chowaliśmy się w krzaki, to jakieś samoloty nadpływały, to musieliśmy się chować. Mama położyła mnie spać. Myśmy jeszcze byli jako tako spokojni, mimo że zmęczeni, bardzo zmęczeni. Rano Rano budziły mnie jakieś głosy. Się okazało, że dzieci płaczą i coraz większy płacz. Więc ja zacząłem też płakać, bo stwierdziliśmy, że nie ma naszych rodziców, naszych mam. Ale to wtedy był ostatni raz, jak mamę widziałem w życiu. I którejś nocy zaprowadzono nas na pociąg. Myśmy zasnęli. Rano w świcie słyszymy jakieś głosy. Bardzo nas to zdziwiło i zainteresowało, bo to były głosy nie macedońskie, ale bardzo podobne. Oni wchodzili do wagonów i wszystkich nas zaczęli częstować jakimś jedzeniem. Mi się wydaje, że to były jabłka tarte z cukrem. Nam to tak niesamowicie smakowało, po prostu tego się nie dało pisać, no bo po tylu miesiącach w ogóle głodówki to było pierwsze jedzenie, które można było nazwać jedzeniem. Okazało się później, że to jest Polska, że myśmy trafili do lądku zdrowia.
Hundreds of pieces of e-dissidents kids being fed for the first time, families getting on trains, documents from other countries in which Macedonians get mentioned as a group of people, newspapers where Macedonia gets mentioned, so on and so forth. Even text on a wall in Aegean Macedonia, which translates to "Long live free independent Macedonia." Following the Treaty of Bucharest in 1913, fully aware of the meaning that the toponyms had in the process of reimagining the territory of Macedonia, Greece focused on changing family names, the names of villages, with the goal to provide the legitimation of a redefined identity. That is, introducing a new cultural profile, language, way of thinking, and the perception of information within the annexed territory in the Aegean part of Macedonia. By 1927, all Macedonian given names and surnames were Hellenized. The General Assembly of the United Nations passed Resolution 192C(3) in respect to ethnic Macedonian child refugees. The aftermath of World War II brought the Greek Civil War.
From Europe's forgotten front, an exclusive Pathé report. In mountainous Pindus country on the Greek-Albanian border, we spotlight the war which has raged unchecked since the rest of Europe went back to peace. Here, Greek army troops move up to attack a stronghold of guerrilla invaders. It was here, in the heights north of Konitsa,
The genocidal acts perpetrated against the Macedonian people during this time remain a haunting chapter in history. Many children were taken away, families torn apart, and the Macedonian identity suppressed. It was a genocidal act to erase use. The post-war period witnessed Macedonia becoming a part of Yugoslavia, leading to complex dynamics. Macedonia's independence in 1991 marked a new chapter, but challenges persist. Recognition of the Macedonian language and the 2018 Prespa Agreement signal progress, but deeper issues linger in Greek-Macedonian relations. Macedonia's journey from the early 20th century, struggles and genocide resonate. Yet, in the face of adversity, the people of Macedonia persist, shaping their identity and future.